Oh mama 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 mama. Oh mama 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 mama. I know, super weird way to start the vlog, but that's how I start a lot of my mornings, vocal warm-ups, so I figured why not change it up a bit. Hello, my friends. I hope you're doing fantastic. Thanks for being here as always. I can't say it enough that I honestly so appreciate every single one of you that watch this channel. I never take for granted the fact that there are a lot of different videos you can watch on YouTube, a lot of different people you can follow, but the fact that so many of you follow my content, engage in my content, comment, like, all that kind of stuff, I truly, truly appreciate it. I'm trying to bring value in any way that I can, just sharing this journey with you, and it means the world to me that you take some time to watch this. So first of all, just know that you're appreciated incredibly much, and I hope that you find every one of these episodes valuable in some way, and I love to hear how that actually is. Some of you take the time in every single video that I post to put some sort of takeaway or some sort of thing that you learned from it or something that challenged you or whatever it was, and I'd love to hear those things. It really helps me to understand where you guys are at in your journey as well, so I can keep making videos like this that make an impact to you. So thanks for being awesome. Let's kill it today. I'm working on a few revisions for an edit that I have to do, and I was thinking back to my video the other day that I talked about how to deal with client revisions and all that kind of stuff, and one thing I forgot to mention that's really a useful thing that I've always done, and I'm not sure if you do this, but it's something that I figured I'd share with you. When you get client revisions, I think it's super important that if you send an edit out, that right away in your editing software you duplicate that project, and then the next time you start to work on that project, you have a new name for that, being edit 2, edit 3, or whatever revision it actually is. The reason that that's super important is because there are times that you'll get a revision request from a client, you'll work on all these things, and then they'll come back to you and say, you know what, I kind of liked number 1 better. I liked the first edit better, but let's just maybe add this to the end instead and then call it a day. And if you've made all your revisions on the initial project, you can never really go back to V1. So I've always made it a habit that as soon as I send the client a revision of any sort, I immediately duplicate it and I create a new one, title it V2, and I start to edit that specific project. So the process is real simple. If I were to get a revision request and I send something out, just duplicate it. Now you have another one, and then you can just double click that, open it up, and just title this 2. That's it. It's honestly like the first nice day that we've had in so long. This entire year has just been a really wacky season when it comes to weather. So anytime it's nice out, I feel like I just have to go outside and do something productive. And that's something is to just clean the inside of my car. I'm definitely convinced that if you keep your car clean more often, you enjoy it longer. And you want to keep it longer, and you enjoy getting in it, and you enjoy driving it. See, what happens is when you drive by a car dealership and you think to yourself, look at how nice that car is. So many times what you're actually seeing is just a really clean car. If you want to like your car more, clean it. If you want to like working in your office more, keep it clean. If you want to enjoy your house more, keep it clean. I think there's just something to be said about keeping things how they were when you got them. Imagine if you walked into a house for the first time and it was a total disaster. It's hard for you necessarily to see its true vision, to see its true potential, because it's a mess. But yet you move into a house and then it gets really messy, and you feel like you don't like the house as much anymore, but maybe you just need to clean it more. It's the reason why at the end of every workday, I clean my office, usually entirely, so that when I get in the next day, I am excited to work. And in the rare times that it's not super clean when I walk in, I clean it first thing, because it just gives me this different, excited motivation about wanting to work in the space that I'm in. I think the space we work in is way more important than people think. And I think if you're someone that keeps a really messy workspace, it translates into how you kind of run your schedule and your life. If it's like a mess and all over the place all the time, it probably translates that that's also kind of how you live life in terms of scheduling and all that stuff. that's just something I'm thinking about. It's like an odd place to get into that kind of deep discussion, but it's kind of things I think about all the time. Just how like so many things in life are all linked together. Organization in your house usually translates to the way that you typically tend to be in person and in your office and in situations. And I think when you kind of realize how things are linked, you can sometimes change how certain things are in life based on changing other things. So I'm always thinking. Every time I do anything, I'm always thinking. I'm just thinking about like how stuff going on in life can affect other things and how I can continue to grow, how I can continue to learn. And when I am a part of different things that are different than I normally do, like if I'm just a part of random meetings or different things and I talk with people and see how people operate, it kind of gives me ideas of how I can implement certain things into my life in a different way. And then I try to figure out how it can translate to the way that I do things. And I don't know, I've always been that way. Always learning. Now I know there are exceptions to that rule, so if you're a person that's like crazy unorganized in your office or your home, it doesn't mean that you're necessarily like an unorganized and unproductive person. I just mean more times than not, it actually does translate more than people think. And so if you're one of those people that sometimes feels like you're struggling with trying to find like how to be more productive with your time and with what you're doing, just look at your life as a whole and figure out maybe if there's some places that you can improve. Because more times than not, those things do translate. It's a good day though, feeling good today. Speaking of feeling good, I've been drinking a ton of water lately. I realized over the last maybe couple weeks that I've been like feeling a little bit more tired than usual, a little bit more like worn out. And I remember a while back when I felt that way, I realized I just hadn't been drinking enough water. So I started tracking like my water intake and making my goal 100 ounces of water every single day. And over the last, I don't know, maybe 7 days or so, I've been doing it. And man, I feel so much better. I've been drinking a full cup of water every single morning before I even have a cup of coffee. And it's really like, it's changed. It makes everything different. It's actually kind of exciting to me because I feel better. I'm just excited about it. So this was a real quick setup. This is just something that I'm doing for a company that reached out to me about a product that they make, which I'll tell you more about the product in another video, but just this is more about the quick setup. Real quick setup. We had to kind of close the windows a bit because it's really bright coming in here, but just my real soft light here coming in. We wanted to showcase some of that background, so we're using a little light back here that just lights up the wall a little bit. Real simple, boom overhead, one camera there, 25 millimeter, so 50 millimeter equivalent. Really clean, not going for any dramatic look, it's really just a clean overall look, and it works well. So it's, yeah, works well. Bam, exported, delivered, boom, moving on. It's a real busy day, moving on here. Next up is rehearsal. Real cinematic entrance here to rehearsal. Dude, look at my new full production gimbal here.
Dude, I can't see it.
You're looking real good. Well, we're headed to do some vocal rehearsals here. And I've been trying to just play around with this little Osmo Pocket a little bit more today. Cool little device. All the time lapses you saw were from it.